In this podcast episode, Balaji delves into the multifaceted disruptions currently reshaping America and the world, from political polarization and economic debt crises to technological revolutions in AI and energy. He explores how these forces interconnect, the unique pressures fracturing the U.S. at ideological and economic levels, and what these dynamics mean for the future of the American state and global order. Balaji also sheds light on China's rise, the decline of American hegemony, and strategies individuals and groups are adopting in response to this period of transformative upheaval. Balaji opens by asserting that the traditional idea of America no longer exists as a unified entity. Instead, the country is split into multiple subgroups: Blue America, Red America, and Tech America, among others, with deeply polarized political, cultural, and economic identities. These divisions are reflected in voting patterns, social media networks, even marriage statistics, showing a growing ideological and social chasm tantamount to ethnic or tribal splits. This polarization is so acute that it resembles the divide between North and South Korea, with Americans inhabiting parallel realities shaped by completely different worldviews and media ecosystems. A key driver of current disruption is the dual impact of artificial intelligence. Digital AI mainly disrupts jobs traditionally held by Democrats, journalists, lawyers, doctors, bureaucrats, and creative professionals, while physical AI, such as robotics and manufacturing automation, threatens blue-collar Republican jobs. This bifurcation causes asymmetric economic and cultural shocks, leading to varied responses by political factions. Blue states adopt aggressive anti-AI stances, enacting restrictive laws due to the threat AI poses to their industries and self-identity, while red states contend more with Chinese competition and physical job displacement. The internet acts as a foundational force behind many of these shifts, not just a single disruptive factor. It has precipitated singularities or exponential growth curves across sectors like solar power in Africa, internet dating, robotics, and digital agents capable of performing human tasks. The internet's deflationary effect, driven by far-reaching digital innovation, compresses costs and redistributes productivity, but also intensifies disruption by enabling rapid change. This overarching vector must be understood in the context of many simultaneous disruptive forces that together reshape economics, culture, and governance. A major underpinning of America's woes is the Keynesian economic model, which Balaji describes as communism for wimps, due to its hidden wealth redistribution through inflation and debt. Rather than overt confiscation, wealth is steadily diluted via endless money printing, with the Federal Reserve inflating the money supply digitally and eroding purchasing power, affecting both individuals and companies. This inflation acts as a silent tax with a Cantillon effect, benefiting financial institutions and politically connected elites, primarily in blue states, disproportionately, while the average American suffers purchasing power loss. This process underlies shrinking economic opportunities that fuel political desperation. China's rise provides a contrasting deflationary force that has undercut American manufacturing and military dominance. While China also prints money, it functions largely as a domestic tax and is allocated by effective, though corrupt, central planners incentivized by economic growth metrics and local profit sharing. China's coordinated state capitalist model has enabled massive manufacturing gains and infrastructure development unavailable to the U.S., despite inequality and authoritarian governance. For America, losing manufacturing and military primacy to China represents a profound challenge, contributing to the Republican faction's economic frustrations. From the mid-2000s onward, both major U.S. political factions have faced existential threats. Democrats saw their media and creative industries hollowed out by the internet and AI. In response, they weaponized identity politics and wokeness to rally their base against Republicans and justified increased taxation and regulation. Republicans, meanwhile, reacted to Chinese competition and job losses with trade wars and nationalism, but have largely lost the economic battle. Both parties now find themselves squeezed, with each trying to tax or curtail the other's core constituencies, deepening American socio-political fractures. California exemplifies the fracturing and one-party domination that Balaji calls a destruction of democracy. With persistent gerrymandering and electoral structures that guarantee democratic control, California has become a one-party state. The political class in California increasingly treats governance as a startup focused on growing budgets, specifically through enabling NGOs and social service industries tied to homelessness and drug addiction. This creates perverse incentives for expanding social crises rather than resolving them, and drives wealthy tech entrepreneurs out due to punitive taxes, hollowing out the political and economic base. The unique position of the US dollar as the global reserve currency allows U.S. monetary inflation to act as a worldwide tax disproportionately benefiting American elites, especially those in blue states who receive printed money first due to the Cantillon effect. While populist narratives often focus on perceived foreign exploitation of Americans, Balaji argues that the broader truth is a shared victimhood where billions of non-Americans are also taxed invisibly through dollar inflation. This global monetary dynamic complicates geopolitical tensions and domestic frustrations. Democrats' historical control over media, money, and speech is eroding rapidly due to AI and decentralized technologies like cryptocurrency. AI disrupts Hollywood, journalism, and bureaucratic elites, while crypto and decentralized networks challenge the financial and regulatory hegemony once centered in blue states and coastal urban hubs. Republican responses involve visa restrictions and border tightening aimed at controlling tech talent inflows, further deepening factional enmity. Tech companies are globalizing operations, increasingly moving talent and capital abroad to navigate these challenges. The fragmentation extends beyond politics into governance and geography. The concept of soft secession is gaining traction, especially among democratic-leaning states, where governors and officials openly defy federal policies, including tariffs on Chinese goods, and strengthen ties with China. This is facilitated by digital migration and decentralized communities that blur traditional state boundaries. The U.S. is trending toward a multipolar nation where interstate competition, migration, and ideological bordering replace unified federal control, presenting both opportunities and significant risks to national cohesion. Balaji draws parallels between America's current polarization and historical episodes like the American Civil War and the breakup of empires. The original Union was valued for providing peace, stability, and economic scale, a major rationale against disunion. The current fragmentation threatens to repeat historical patterns of violent conflict, economic fracturing, and long-term instability seen in divided nations such as the post-Soviet space. These cycles of centralization and decentralization, seen repeatedly in history and even embodied in religious and cultural shifts, pose fundamental questions on how America can maintain its unity. The post-9/11 era saw America's genius blossom technologically, but also revealed the limits of its global dominance. The financial crisis of 2008 marked a turning point where America's structural vulnerabilities were exposed, catalyzing shifts of power to Silicon Valley tech and China's manufacturing might. Advances in solar power, internet infrastructure, and AI are disrupting traditional sectors, reinforcing shifts in tech and physical production centers worldwide. The U.S. is no longer the undisputed global leader, but one player among many in a highly turbulent and contested multipolar world. In response to these overlaps of political, economic, and technological disruption, Balaji advocates for a pragmatic eye-of-the-hurricane strategy. This entails relocating to politically stable, economically vibrant regions such as Texas, Florida, and select global hotspots like El Salvador, Southeast Asia, and parts of Eastern Europe. The idea is to prioritize geographic mobility, community trust, and regulatory environments conducive to innovation and freedom. Liquidation of assets, emigration, and agility become essential survival strategies amid decaying American institutions and international uncertainty. Balaji envisions the rise of network states, where digital-first communities form in the cloud before acquiring physical territory, flipping traditional notions of statehood. While land and geography remain parameters, the primary social and political bonds are formed online, weakening the historical connection between citizenship and geography. This evolution could accelerate America's fragmentation, but also enable new forms of governance that transcend fractured domestic politics, offering alternative models of democracy, economy, and cultural identity in a hyper-connected world.